Good morning, everybody. Helen the Russian here. This is gonna be quick and to the point video, mostly for the rideshare drivers in Las Vegas for the dates of July 19, 20, and 21st. So, as the title suggests, bad spots to be around this weekend. Number one spot, as I discovered, as far as bad spots go, is Park MGM. Those of you who live here obviously know that the rideshare area, pick up and drop off at Park MGM, is out in the back, which is usually a pretty good area. Also, the taxis and valets are in there. Well, yesterday, as I was dropping someone off in there, I discovered that they, for whatever reason, this weekend, because the guy told me until Monday, that back area is completely closed to all traffic, including rideshare, taxis, and valets, so they moved everyone up front. The problem with that is you don't find that out until you're all the way back there. So what had happened, I picked someone up, I believe at Treasure Island, doesn't matter, not far. So I took Frank Sinatra like I normally would, and there was no traffic, and I was thinking, oh wow, you know, we're doing really, really good here. So I got into park, and that's very quickly I realized that that left turn to go into the either garage parking or the back area for rideshare is really backed up, and I couldn't figure out why. It was seriously backed up. I sat there for well over 5 minutes trying to make that left turn, and no one was directing any traffic in there. There was no event, so there was no police directing traffic, which is why I wondered why it's so backed up. There was no signs of any kind. And then once I got to where people would turn into the garage, there were two people directing traffic, but they weren't doing a fantastic job with it. And still, even these two people wouldn't tell you anything. And then I got further down, and all the way back there is a guy going, turn around, go up front. And I lowered the window, I go, mate, what's happening? He goes, until Monday, this area is closed for everybody. I go, well, you should really put the sign all the way back there, because had I known that, I would have proceeded up front straight away and not waited to make this long left turn. He goes, oh, there is a sign. He was really flippant, and there wasn't a sign. Even my passengers told him that. So lucky for me, the passengers, they suggested themselves they're gonna just get out and walk to the door. Otherwise, because everybody was doing the same thing, the traffic to get back was absolutely horrendous. I could see it going in. So thankfully, the passengers left, and I just went through that alley that leads to the strip, and I exited that way, which was a whole lot faster. Anyhow, so Park MGM, extremely undesirable this weekend for both pickups and drop-offs, because it's just going to take forever and ever trying to get in and out of there. Which is made even worse by the fact that there is a fight tonight, the boxing match, and that's going to be at MGM Grand Arena, because normally, like later yesterday, after I already had this knowledge about Park MGM, I picked up two girls at UNLV Library that wanted to go to Park MGM for a concert, so I explained to them what's happening, and I told them I'll take them to MGM on the other side of the strip, because we were coming from the east side. So I just cut through MGM, and they walked across the boulevard to get to Park MGM. They were quite happy to do that, but today it's not going to work. That whole area is going to be clogged up with the fight traffic. So I'd say honestly avoid the whole thing if you can. Another bad thing is they closed a U-turn and left turn lanes on the boulevard in front of the Link and Casino Royale going south. So the reason I'm bringing that up, because most of you know that stinky Best Western that's behind Casino Royale, the only way to get there is from the boulevard through that little alley. Well, I had a shared ride where I picked people up at the Link yesterday, and no sooner, and we were going to Tropicana, I thought, sweet, I'm gonna get on Cowell, we're gonna be there. There wasn't much traffic on Cowell. Well, sure enough, I'm still trying to get on Cowell, and I get someone added, and that added on is Best Western. So I told the passengers, hey, you know what, your ride just got a whole lot longer, because the only way to get there is through the boulevard. So I had to make a turn. Instead of right, I turned left on Cowell, and then to Sands, and then to Boulevard. So all these left turns, which you obviously had to wait to make in the traffic on the Friday night, And then I get to that where you make a U-turn to get to that Best Western, and the whole lane is closed. I don't know why, but there are orange cones, it's closed, and there is a sign saying no left turn. And a little further down, same thing. So I literally could not make that pick. I couldn't. There was no way. For me to make it, I would have to spend another at least 15 to 20 minutes trying to get around, and that was not going to happen. So I called the passenger and I explained to them, I said, look, I honestly cannot get to you, there's just no way. And I proceeded to take this original 2 guys to Tropicana, which they regretted doing the shared ride, because it took, their ride actually took 20 minutes longer than it would have been. I don't know how much money they saved, couldn't be that much, but you know, they understood, they actually tipped me a couple bucks. But yeah, that's a good example of why shared ride in Las Vegas on a busy Friday night on the strip is really not a good idea. Personally, I didn't care, because that ride, there was initial passenger that was meant to be picked up at the Venetian, which didn't show up, and then there's 2 guys, and then that person who I couldn't get. So ultimately that ride, I got paid $11 and some cents from Lyft, and this guys tipped me another 2, so $13 was okay for that particular ride, because overall it took me about half an hour, but yeah, that was fine. But yeah, that's that. Those are the bad places I noticed yesterday, so keep that in mind, and hopefully everybody has a nice, safe weekend. It's not too hot today, not windy, it's actually not bad, all things considered. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody.